Okay, I'm going to be taking a look at my Strife RTX. Sorry if you hear anything in the background. I'm watching Gura, the VTuber. It's her birthday today. Yeah, I'm looking at Strife RTX. I just wanted to show how the project's going really quick before I do stuff today. Because I've been working on a different level and I've changed configuration settings quite a bit since the last time you've seen this. I've figured out how to get ray tracing shadows working, so I'm not using the virtual shadow system anymore. Um, I've got a couple more materials. Good luck, big guy. I got a couple more materials figured out and done, which look awesome. And this actually lets me show something interesting really quick here. I need to find a spot where, like, let's go into the lumen scene. Let's take a look at this. So I've been going through this level and breaking down all of the level geometry and, turning them into separate sub meshes. And you can see some of it I haven't done yet, so it shows up as black because it's going to crash really quick. That's okay. This happens a lot. Especially this one. This is a weird thing that's happening. Um, Something with the view rotation, and it just does that. It's fine. It's a lot more stable than on other platforms. But this is early access, and I have some insider information about this. None of the graphics card vendors have really tested this all that much. So, yes, it's unstable. It's early access. Don't base anything from this early access on what the final is going to be like at all. Please. It's early access. This is like alpha. Alpha. Now taking objective alpha. Okay. But yeah, we got the lumen scene stuff going on, and that makes it so, like, if you're doing a project on this and you're noticing that your reflections aren't showing up correctly, like you see a whole bunch of like this looks right here. Am I correct? I don't want to say right a whole bunch of times in a row. You can't do a whole bunch of rights in a row because then they're consecutive and they're not random. Um, So yeah, see that looks all dim over there, and you might be, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you come up with some sort of a reasoning based on physics or some shit because you're Einstein. But then if you look at the lumen scene, you're like, this is why it's not reflecting anything. So the way you fix this is right now I have the grass selected. So let's select all of the mesh, all the triangles of this part of the grass. I'll stop it like right here. That's good. Let's make sure I get the rest of this. Let's get parts of this and that. And let's get this little door part too. So this whole part right here, I have selected, and I'm in the triangle select, the tri model. I'm going to separate triangles. Boom, separated. Now it's its own mesh. And we're going to save it because you never know, it might just crash. And if you look at the lumen scene, now that grass is represented in the lumen scene. And you go back to here, and oh man, it's not showing up very well. That's because, brightness and things like that and exposure. But trust me, now it will reflect better if the oh yeah, that's right. I have this set up in my material. I have base color multiplier. I learned this from watching their dev talk, Epic's dev talk on this. So if you put up the base multiplier, you'll notice that it is more visible. And I can't show a before and after, but trust me, in the before that never happened. um, that shows up a whole lot. That wouldn't show up in the before. Here, I'm over here, and this is another thing I do with everything that I separate out. You don't need light map UV, so you could turn it off. And I put the distance field resolution scale up. I enable nanite. I check all those boxes. I don't even know if they're really needed, but I check them anyway because there's some situations in which it fixes the texturing, and then it it works. And I'll show you why I do the other thing. You got mesh distance fields. Mesh distance fields are used for things in Lumen, either in software mode or in hardware mode. I'm not really sure how that's going to work in the final version of UE5, but for now, I'm painstakingly every single bit that I separate out. I am setting those mesh distance fields to that 100% value. And that's why you get, like, sharp geometry. Like, I haven't done everything, so you sometimes get things like this. But like when things are like that and not separated, that messes up the shadowing, that messes up the GI. You could get a whole better looking scene if you separate things out. Go use modeling mode, and if your level geometry affords you the ability to treat things the way I'm treating my level geometry, then you need to separate things out. Like this right here. That's all one object. And if you look at the Lumen scene, it's not represented because it doesn't know how to treat this. So you go triangle select, and that's its own thing, right? Triangle select, that's its own thing, right? And that's all I'm going to do for now. And then you go into the Lumen scene. Those are represented. But why do I do the other thing? Because you go in the mesh distance fields. I mean, yeah, that works. But sometimes you get issues on the edges of this where it kind of is weird in the GI representation. So then I go into here, do all of that, wait for it to build. It shows up again in a second, and now it's just one mesh distance field like that. You don't need to have a scene as complex as Valley of the Ancient to take advantage of all of these features. You just don't. And what I just did, you'd be like, oh, so why'd you do that? It doesn't look any different. Trust me. Please just trust me. It looks different, and you're safeguarding your scene against future conditions, basically. Like you might have someone who's going to be running your game who could only support software ray tracing, and that's going to help them. So I'm just going to stop it here. I got a whole day. It's Father's Day today, so I'm hanging out with my dad. I'm going to be doing stuff. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoy whatever the heck this video was, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.